Hi there, my name is Will. Welcome to photographyquestions.com. Today I'm going to spend 5 to 10 minutes talking to you about graduated filter and radial filter in the develop section of Lightroom. So here I have my image and I've done some basic corrections to this already. And so we're just going to play around with these filters located on this toolbar here. This is the graduated filter, this is the radial filter. And we're going to make some adjustments to this image here. So as you can see, you've got a lot of the same options here that you have under the basic section here: temperature, tint, exposure, contrast, all these highlights, shadows. You've also got clarity, saturation, and you've got sharpness, noise, moire, and defringe. And also you can do a color cast on this as well. So we'll go through a few of these and show you what they do. So the first thing you want to do is actually create your mask for your filter, and that's done simply by clicking and dragging anywhere within your image. So I'm just going to pop the exposure down so we can see immediately what this is doing. Now the filter is applied from where you click to where you drag. So if I want to darken the sky here, I'll drop my exposure down quite dramatically just so we can see what it does. If I click up here and drag down, you can immediately see that it's affecting the sky and making that darker. And if we want to remove this, we can just hit delete. Again, if I do the opposite, it will darken the foreground. The more you drag, the more of a feather you have across the filter. So if I drag this all the way down, for example, we'll have a gradual adjustment across the whole image. I can then click on this and move that up to increase or decrease that adjustment. If we do this only a little bit, for example, the line across the image will be far more pronounced as to where that adjustment has been made. And if I just uncheck this, we can see that without the filter across, and we can already see that this has made sort of quite a dramatic adjustment to the image just by darkening that sky. It makes this foreground pop out a little bit more. What I will do is I'll just delete this, drag one across, and then we can make some adjustments to see what all the different options do. Okay, so we've got this option here to adjust our color temperature. So we can adjust the color temperature for a specific part of the image. As you can see there, just doing some drastic adjustments. We can also do the tint. So this will put a color cast across your image. Obviously we have exposure, so we can increase or decrease the exposure for that specific area. Contrast as well. Highlights, we can increase or decrease the highlights. Shadows, again, increase or decrease. Clarity, and of course your saturation. Now the other neat thing here too is that here we can increase and decrease different areas like sharpness, for example. So let's say I want to blur this little foreground element here. I can click and drag that up like so. I'll just pop these back to where they're supposed to be, and if I decrease the sharpness quite drastically, we can see this is now blurred out. And you can do more than one and create a sort of lens baby type effect, if you like, if you've ever seen what those lenses can do. Selective focus is the word I'm looking for. You can create that sort of effect where your foreground and your background are blurred, and you've just got that selective focus through your image. just delete these again. We'll drag another one down. You can reset this at any time by clicking the reset button down here. Nice and easy, and as I said before, you can delete any of these options by hitting the delete key when you have the specific spot selected. Now, moire is usually found when you have lots of lines within your image, say lines in a suit or a mesh. Obviously we don't have that in this image, so we won't be using that today. Noise, you can obviously increase or decrease noise within your image if you want to do that. And defringe is similar to using the down here in lens corrections. Under color we have chromatic aberration and the defringe option here. So you can do that selectively using the mask, using the radial graduated filter, or you can do it under lens corrections down here, which we'll touch on in a later video. So that is the graduated filter, named obviously because it's graduated from where you start your filter to where it finishes. Creates a nice feather. We'll just delete this and we'll move on to the radial filter. So here we have basically all the same options here. You'll notice here down the bottom in the graduated filter there's no feather option, because that's created depending on how far or how little you drag the mouse. Here we have a feather option, so when we click and drag at the radial option, you'll see that you can create any kind of oval or circular shape you like, and the feather down here, you can create an extremely hard edge or as softer edge as you can here on the 100%. Now the effect by default is on the outside of the radial filter, as you can see here using the exposure. You can invert this if you like, so you can create the effect inside the filter there, inside your selection. So let's say, for example, we want to create a bit of a vignette. We can do that by simply reducing the exposure and having a nice decent feather on that. It's quite a simple way. There are other ways of doing that in Lightroom as well, but this is another easy way you can do it. And again, you've got all these same options that you had previously, so it's a good way to play around and make adjustments to your image however you might want to do that. So that is the basics of the graduated and radial filter. Oh, one more thing which I forgot to mention, down here you can add a color cast to your image on both the graduated and radial filters. So let's delete that and go back to our graduated one. If we drag that down and add a bit of a color cast, you can add in sepia tones or anything like that to give your image a different sort of look. Again, it's something to play around with, and you know, you're not doing any damage to your original image. You can reset or delete these at any time you want. So it's great to play around and see what you can do. So that's it for this video. I hope you've learned something. If you want to look at getting Lightroom, on photographyquestions.com/resources, we have an affiliate link there. That would help me out if you decided to purchase it through there, and I do appreciate that. So thanks, and look out for the next video. Cheers.